Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Douglas Hartman with Airbrush Artistry, and today's just, I don't know, well, I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but started the new project, the Demon Skull. As you can see, I've already got it sketched out, and you know, I apologize for the quality of the last video I did. It was kind of a test run on that Casio little whiz-bang camera that I had, and the quality on that thing just wasn't worth a crap. Don't really understand why, but anyway, my phone is much better, and so I got the new setup for my phone, so it's you have a more direct line of sight instead of off to the side where the image was skewed when I had my phone on a tripod. And now it's essentially between me. The mount was coming down from above, and so my phone is like actually between me and the image that I'm working on, and so you have a more direct line of sight of what I'm doing. And so what I'm going to be using for this is the Iwata HPB Plus. It's the 0.2 millimeter needle and nozzle setup. We're going to be using Createx illustration colors. I'm just going to start off with Payne's Gray right now, because it's a very light, cool tone, and it's already reduced 50%. And before I add the paint into the cup, I'm going to add probably this time just maybe 2 to 3 drops of reducer, which is just distilled water, and we'll go from there. And right now I'm just going to focus on, let's see here, 1Z to, I'll go with 3 drops of reducer this time around. Let's see how that works out. I already got the Payne's Gray mixed up, and I've said it before, these little bottles are great. You get them on Amazon. They're like 40 of them in a bag for like 13 bucks, I think. And I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. And again, how I mix it when it's got in the cup, I use one of these little sponges you can get at craft stores, Walmart. You could probably even use like a little cosmetic sponge. A lot of people just use their fingers. I have stabbed myself way too many times, and I'm also very afraid of bending the needles on these things. So essentially I just kind of stick it in there, and then I give it a squeeze, air, and pull back, and that gets it bubbling up. So it mixes it in the cup, and then I'll give it all right, and then we're good to go. I give the needle, you know, I use these little Q-tips with the points on them with ammonia-free Windex, and I'll essentially just put it on, lay it on the needle, and it helps with any tip dry or whatever. Pull the needle off a bit. All right, man, we're good to go. And so the very beginning, what I'm going to do is just to get a little bit of value down on the paper, I'm going to go over and kind of fill in his eye sockets a little bit, and the nose, and then let's see, and I'm not sure where I'm going to go from there, but like I said, just to get a little bit of value down. And I'm just doing it real lightly. Remember, it's always better to start off light and go dark. I'm raising it's a lot easier to fix mistakes. When you do that, I'm going to come over here on this side. Yeah, this guy. So this is the first time me using this airbrush, and let me tell you, I really like it already. It atomizes beautifully. Then again, what Iwata airbrush doesn't atomize beautifully? Again, just getting a little bit of value down in there. All right, and so, you know, one of the things we need to talk about is light source. Again, I'm just going to go very basic with this, and essentially the light source is going to be coming down, and maybe about maybe about 10 o'clock or something like that. Not like high noon or something, but and so when you're, and I just dropped, man, oh man. I just dropped a little sponge guy. That's all right. I got another one. I got a backup one over here. I think it went down underneath my easel. And let me set the airbrush down real quick. We're going to talk about, you know, one of the things you need to figure out, you know, as far as, you know, where's my light source going to be, and how is that going to affect, you know, the forms and shapes of my painting, you know, when you're painting something. And so, you know, obviously the eye sockets and the nose, especially in here, probably going to be some of the darkest areas of this whole painting, because it is back recessed inside the skull. Now I may come back a little bit later and add just a eerie red glow to these to give it a little bit more life to it, because it is a demon skull, you know, and whatnot. And then, you know, so you've got his, you know, the eye, you know, the eye bridge right here, you know, and so these are going to be lighter up here. As it turns into the eye socket, it'll be a little bit darker in here, but not as dark as back in there. Same thing with the bridge of the nose bone here. There's going to be light source on here, but, you know, down below, you know, again, it's going to be a little bit darker. In this area in here, it's going to be recessed a little bit back, so it's going to be a little bit darker. The teeth sockets and stuff are going to have highlights on them as well. And obviously the curve of the horn, you know, it's going to be lighter up in here and darker down below, and whatnot. And so we're going to go from there. But what I am going to do, I almost want to just kind of go over almost the whole thing at first, just to establish some value. And possibly, let me think about that one for a minute. And I know one thing I am going to do, though, is I am going to use, the thing with skulls I like about them is, you know, the amount of texture. So we are going to go, it's going to be a very textured, heavy painting. And remember, when you're doing the texture and everything, you keep in mind, you know, the area you're working on, the value of that area, and do a slow build up. And so I think I'm going to work in this general area right in here. So in here is going to be a little bit darker. We'll be dealing with a lot of cracks and crevices and stuff. That's what I love about skulls. So let me go in and add There's a little bit of texture down this side of this nose socket right in here. And it is so light that it's almost hard to see what I'm doing. And that's okay, because I don't want to blast it. You know, don't want to give it the old blasterooski. But see, that came out a little bit better there. I just need to get a little closer. Give it a little bit more paint coming out of there. There we go. That's a little bit better. A little better. There we go. I'll work my way over here a little bit. I love these little stencils. They come in so handy. You know, I'm just going to go kind of all around. I'm going to focus on this guy, just the entire eye area right here. So yeah, I am really digging this guy right here. And I am running, it's right about 15 psi in the compressor. For those of you that are kind of curious about that. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be really cool. So, yeah, so I laid in some texture in there. And I laid in like a whole bunch of texture actually. So now what I'm going to do, I was like, okay, so now what do? You got all this texture going on. And I want to go in, you know, I almost want to go over the whole thing. This guy's going to look like he got shot in the face with a shotgun or something. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over his whole skull with a stencil just like this. And then go from there, and then go in. What I'll do is, in the darker areas, I'll go in and darken up some of the areas and put this is going to take forever, and go in and highlight, and you know, darken up and highlight, and then add cracks and crevices and lines. Highlight those. This is going to be really cool, actually. I go over the whole skull except his horns and this bony protrusions coming out of his lower eye sockets there, and the teeth area. I'll think twice about how I'm going to do that. But yeah, man, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to go, we're going to have a stencil bonanza here or something. There we go, a little bit more paint coming out of there. And I hope you guys are able to see this when I do this. See, that's one of the things I really do enjoy about painting skulls is, man, if you can, you can paint them any way you want, you know, and nobody can say, well, that's not what it looks like. And it's like, well, when's the last time you've seen a demon skull in a museum or somewhere, you know? The artistic freedom that you have when doing skull work is what I really enjoy. Any kind of organic subject matter for that purpose anyway, I really enjoy doing. It gives you more freedom to just do whatever you want to do, man. You know, that's why I like, you know, kind of doing the whole fantasy creatures and stuff. Just because, you know, nobody can really say, well, they don't look like that. And it's like, well, it's a make-believe character anyway. Who are you to tell me what it's supposed to look like? You know? So I might want to, if I want to stop there, go ahead and just do his dome too. Oh, that's a good question. Because what I'll do is I'll go in here and darken and highlight all little pop marks and everything like that. And then I'll go in and just airbrush over them, you know, darker areas, and then pull some of the highlights out again. And so it's going to be a long process, but man, I tell you what, it's going to be pretty badass when this guy is done. And you know, should I just go ahead, you know, sometimes you just kind of have to just kind of go with it, really. I was going to have some kind of ridge coming up the center of his skull there. And, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and stop right there. Just for now. And so, yeah, so I got that laid down. And so what I want to do now is go a little, well, maybe not darker. Let me get in here closer. And this will really tell me so let's try a little bit. So I know this area down in here is going to be darker, so what I'm going to do here, and hopefully my big ugly head doesn't get in the way. So in some of these areas it's already dark, I want to go ahead and and even make them, you know, darker. I hope you guys are able to pick that up. I'm sure, I think you are. Let me go ahead and give it a little twirly on the needle, and you can see it's already, gosh, it's already melted back into the thing there. So I'll do that when I go to, you know, get off any tip dry. Then again, what I'll do is do that, and then get on the air and help blowing off the needle. So yeah, so I'm gonna come in here and darken up some of these areas in here. Got a little too close on that one. I have to lower my air pressure just a smidge. Yeah, so I'm going, like I said, I'm going in and darkening up some of these areas. In here. Just making texture is wonderful, man. Gotta love me some texture. Yeah, I sure appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. I know this video is, well, any video that I've done here really is like long overdue, but yeah, just going back in and again darkening up some of the areas. And I want to start in here because this is going to be a darker area. And what I'll do is I'll just, then I'll when I get this area, I'm going to go through and darken up some of these spots. What I'll do then is I'll go in and hit the areas, you know, what I want highlighted, you know, areas right above the little dark marks. Okay. And then I'll come in with a, you know, a little bit darker glaze and kind of glaze in where I want there going to be some shadows and stuff like that. And then go back in and erase some, and you know, it's that same adding paint, taking paint away, add some more paint, taking, you know, some paint away, and then build up the different values and textures. And you know, the cool thing is if I wanted to, you know, if I wanted to be this skull to be nice and smooth, I could have, you know, done it like that. But I wanted this guy to be real, you know, just a lot of texture overkill, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, right off the bat, I can tell you that the you know, I do like this airbrush. I like it a lot, actually. Trigger response is on fire. It's right where it's supposed to be. But there is a huge difference between the you know, going from the Drew Blair Takumi with the softer spring and the air valve mechanism and the shorter trigger makes a world of difference. It is like night and day going from that to this that is just pure stock, you know. Don't get me wrong, this is still it's still really, really nice. What I'm gonna do is another thing that's really cool about these guys is you can unscrew this just a little bit here to ease up on the tension on the trigger spring there. Keep it like that. Yeah, I like that. So it's adjustable. You know, when you pull back for paint, makes it a little bit softer. Give me a little bit of, mix it up a little bit. All right, so now I'm gonna go in down here. I'm kind of just filling, you know, going over the darker areas that you know, that stencil created. Big old. All right. So you can obviously see the difference between the values in here and then up in here. Okay, I went in and darkened it up just a little bit. But what I want to do is, so the bridge of his eye, this eye bone right here, right? So it rolls up, you know, there's dimension to it. And so to create the dimension to that, you know, this top portion is going to be lighter. And this is going to be darker, and you have like a mid-tone through here, you know. Well, same thing in here, you know. I want there to be this, you know, this ridge underneath his eye a little bit here, and I'll work out the shape of it as it comes along here. And so, in order to do that, to create this to be a ridge here, it needs to be darker in here, okay? And so, to do that, what I'll do, I'm gonna just put a little, this glaze, a little bit of color in through there. And you see that? So now we got this area. It's a little bit darker in value going through here. So it sets it back further. And we got this highlight. Alright, and then what'll really help is if I darken this edge up right here a little bit. Even more. And it helps even, you know, create that, you know, even more. And so then what I can do is go in and I know I haven't gotten a lot of, you know, color in here, but just, so I'm going to go over the top edge of this. And some of these other areas, you know, above, little black areas. And it really just helps create more texture, man. Give me texture, give me death. So I got that, so. Now I want to give it a weird shape to it. See, what I also want to do is create, you know, some cracks and crevices and stuff like that, almost out of paint. And so I got this little jobby right here. I can go take that. crack that goes down inside here. I think I am. Yep, I am pretty near out of paint in my paint cup here. So what I'm gonna do is reducer 1, 2, 3 drops of reducer. I'll make sure I got the right one here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now with my Takumi, I was putting in 5 drops of reducer in the beginning to 10 drops of paint. Give that a mix-a-rooski. Blow it through a little bit. Yeah. I'm gonna have this little fracture. Even have more. That's what I think of, you know, like right here. You have a little crack coming down here. And then, let's see, darken up this area a little bit right in here. And start to give, and then it's like you pick out an area and you start to give it, you know, some shape to it and texture. Like this little spot right here. Maybe I want to make it just a smidge. Yeah, just look a little bit darker. And so maybe like in here, maybe if I want to make a bigger, like a bigger crack in the skull. All right, so we got that. Gonna go over that with some air and dry that off a little bit before I go in and start erasing a little bit. Yeah. Just making some cracks and crevices, man. Alright. I would like this to be just a little bit lighter on the top side of this. Right here. Go in here and there and just, you know, erase some of the little tones in here to make it, to break it up a little bit, you know, so it's not so just monotonous. So even though I'm lightening up this area, it's still not as light as this area right here. So it gives it, you know, it gives it that, you know, that the illusion that this is more rounded in shape. Again, all we're doing is creating form and shapes with value changes. Back at the old value changes routine. Yeah, this is going to be really cool. Okay, I'm almost at an hour. Yeah, it's going to take me a good bit of time to do this. But yeah, so again, that's what I like, is adding little cracks and crevices here and there. You know, always makes for a cool skull. Gives it more form. And let's see, what do we got? There's a little bit of shapes up here. It's kind of like a ball shape right here. So this top part is going to be lighter than the bottom part in here. So maybe I want to have this area right here raised up too. So bring the airbrush back a little bit and just dust in a little bit of color there. Again, this is going to be a rounded shape here coming out of his eye socket in here. And so this will define this like a little ridge right here because it's highlighted. So underneath it, I want to add a little, and then add that in there. Cool. See how we made some shapes here and some forms just from changing the value, just like that. Bada boom, bada bing. And so, and then this in here is going to go kind of in. So this right in here needs to be a little bit darker, right? Create the illusion of this area going back further from this area. Just a little bit. Helps make that stand out a little bit more. And that needs a lot more texture to it. It does. And as we move up, it's gonna be darker in here. It's gonna, and then let's see, we can add some more texture in there. But yeah, this guy here, he's textureless, man. He needs some. Can't have that. See how you did that? You just get a little bit of paint flowing and just give your airbrush a little bit of a wiggle. Okay. And so then it, when you go in, it creates just some various lines. You go in a little bit closer and darken some of them up. And so then naturally what we're going to do is go in and put some lighter, erase out some lighter tones. Yeah, this is going to be really, really cool, dude. I appreciate you guys watching. These are going to be some longer videos, and but that's kind of how it is, man. So yeah, see how, so I'm just creating this shape in here, and you got this little guy in here, and I want to darken up. Just a little bit, you know. So I'm going to pull back a little bit and add some color in there. And make sure it's dry before I go in. Right around in here. Right in there. I want this top edge right here to be brighter. So let's define this little shape right in here. And it kind of has this natural curve coming around in here. I'm digging that. It kind of has a... And so what we can do is darken that in there, but let me add some just some linear textures in there, cracks and stuff, to help define the form of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so down in here, and obviously in here it's gonna be darker, right? Sure is. It's underneath the light source coming down, so these are gonna be lighter. It's gonna be producing, especially right back in there, I want it to go darker to give it more depth. So it's going further in. And then just a little bit lighter out in here. That created it almost like a little nook and cranny in there, you know. And so, you know, these are, it's lighter, but I still want to give them some texture. I'll go in and bring out some lighter values. So what I'm doing is I'm also going to, you know, at some point I'm going to go back in with straight up illustration black and really punch in the darks, you know, but not right now. Remember how I made that mistake in my last painting with a goblin? I did that dark edge around the outline. Made it look like shit. And don't want to make that mistake again. So, you know, I'm always talking about don't go too dark too fast. I need to make sure I don't do that as well. All right, so we got, you know, we've established some form and some shapes in this area. Let's define this shape right here. And we already have a little indentation kind of right in here. That would help. Give it a little. Yeah, creeping up on an hour. I think I'm going to keep these videos about an hour long. I don't know how many people are going to actually still be watching. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make a little crack like that. Not too concerned with as far as how it looks right now, but again, I might have a little tip dry going on there. I don't know if I like what I did there or not. But anyway, I can always change it later. But again, oh, well, now it looks kind of cool, I think. I'm going to darken that up just a smidge. Right above that line there. Darken this up right in there. Yeah, I'm really. That's the thing I love about doing skulls is you just, as you go along, you create. You just start to create these little, you know, shapes and forms within the shape and form of the larger picture, you know, and it just makes it really cool. So I really want that just to be stood out more. So I guess that needs to be just a smidge darker. And same thing with this area right in here. Yeah, that helped a lot, I think. I'm gonna punch in a little right in here. I want it to be a lot darker, just to have like a little, like there's a hole there or something, and to break up the monotony of the value we have going on in here. And what'll help is if I add just a little, take away some paint in here. Pretty cool, man. Alright, so it is creeping up on an hour. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop right here. And I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys that have hung in there with me. And I look forward to probably the next, what is today, Tuesday. Is it Tuesday already? June 11th? Yes, I think tomorrow's the 12th. And, oh boy, let's see, Wednesday. Yeah, I got the grandkids this weekend. Got D&D. Yeah, so we are, doing the whole Fendelver and below the Shattered Obelisk. I'm the Dungeon Master, and every other Sunday I've got a good group of guys that come over, and we, get our geek on. And so that campaign's doing really good. They're having a really fun time with it. And I'm enjoying it as well, obviously, or I wouldn't still be doing this at 55 years old, playing Dungeons and Dragons. Who'd have thunk it, right? But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And again, it's just our demon skull. And we're just getting the very base foundation in, I'm going in with Payne's Gray, real lightly, adding color, taking away color, adding, taking away, and creating different shapes and textures and forms within the bigger shape and form, And this is what I really love doing, this kind of intricate little work like this. And again, using the Iwata HPB Plus, the 0.2 millimeter needle and nozzle setup, and createx illustration colors. All right, have a good night, guys. Bye.